Why would a woman you barely know drag you to court over a car you never promised to give away? In the sleepy suburb of Willow Creek, where picket fences and manicured lawns painted a picture of harmony, I lived a quiet life as a mechanic. My pride and joy was a cherry red 1967 Mustang, restored with my own hands over years of sweat-soaked weekends. It wasn't just a car, it was a piece of my soul, a testament to my late father, who'd taught me to wrench before I could spell. But Karen Holloway, my neighbor 2 streets over, saw it as something else, a trophy her son, Dylan, deserved. Karen wasn't just any neighbor. She was a storm in human form, 300 pounds of fury wrapped in garish floral dresses. Her face a permanent scowl that could curdle milk. Her voice, sharp and grating, carried across the cul-de-sac like a foghorn. She'd moved to Willow Creek a year ago, and since then, she'd terrorized the HOA with complaints about unacceptable mailbox colors and noisy children. But her obsession with my Mustang started the day she saw Dylan, her lanky, entitled 18-year-old, ogling it in my driveway. "Nice ride," Dylan had said, running a hand along the hood like he already owned it. I'd smiled politely, but my gut churned. Something about his smirk screamed trouble. Karen, waddling up behind him, had beamed. "Dylan's turning 18 soon. He needs a car like that to make an impression at college." I'd laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. The demands began subtly. Karen would drop by while I worked in my garage, her perfume choking the air as she hinted that Dylan deserved a classic car. "You're single, no kids," she'd say, her tone syrupy but barbed. "Why hoard such a beauty?" I'd shrug, keeping my cool. The Mustang wasn't for sale, and certainly not for gifting. But Karen didn't take hints. Soon, she was banging on my door, demanding I loan the car to Dylan for his senior prom. "It's a rite of passage," she shrieked when I refused. Her face, red and twisted, looked like it might burst. I stood firm. The Mustang stayed in my garage. Then came the lawsuit. One humid morning, a process server handed me a summons. Karen was suing me for breach of verbal contract, claiming I'd promised Dylan the Mustang as a graduation gift during a casual chat at a block party. It was a lie so bold it could have starred in a courtroom drama. I'd never made such a promise, and the block party witnesses half the neighborhood knew it. But Karen's audacity didn't stop there. She'd fabricated texts, photoshopped a fake agreement, and even roped Dylan into swearing I'd shaken his hand on the deal. The kid, spineless under her thumb, went along with it. Court was a circus. Karen, draped in a too-tight blazer, played the victim with Oscar-worthy tears. "He's denying my boy his future," she wailed, pointing at me like I'd stolen her last donut. Her lawyer, a greasy man with a comb-over, waved her forged texts like they were gospel. I sat there, my blood boiling, as my lawyer dismantled her lies. Neighbors testified I'd never promised anything. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with steel-gray hair, wasn't amused. "Mrs. Holloway," she said, her voice ice, "your evidence is as flimsy as your ethics." The case was dismissed in under an hour. Karen's face went from smug to volcanic. She stormed out, vowing revenge. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Life settled back into its rhythm. I worked, tinkered with the Mustang, and ignored Karen's glares from across the street. But she wasn't done. She'd taken to social media, posting rants about selfish neighbors and stolen dreams. She even started a petition to shame me into giving Dylan the car. It got 3 signatures: her, Dylan, and some cousin from out of town. The neighborhood, tired of her antics, ignored her. But Karen's obsession only grew. She'd park her minivan outside my house, watching me like a hawk. I'd catch her muttering to herself, her eyes locked on my garage. It was creepy, but I figured she'd burn out eventually. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One evening, as I sipped coffee on my porch, a beat-up sedan rolled into the cul-de-sac. Out stepped a wiry man in his 40s, his face weathered but kind. He introduced himself as Tom, Karen's ex-husband, Dylan's father. I heard about the lawsuit, he said, his voice low. I'm sorry. Karen's unhinged when she wants something. Tom wasn't here to fight. He wanted to warn me. Karen, he said, had a history of scams, fake injuries, forged documents, even a stint in jail for fraud years ago. Dylan, caught in her web, was too scared to defy her. She's planning something, Tom warned. Watch your car. His words sent a chill down my spine. I started locking the Mustang in a rented storage unit, driving my old pickup instead. Karen noticed. Her tantrums grew louder, her social media posts wilder. She accused me of hiding stolen property. I ignored her, but the tension gnawed at me. Tom's warning echoed in my head. What was she planning? The answer came at Dylan's graduation. Willow Creek High's ceremony was a big deal. Families packed the football field, balloons bobbing in the breeze. I attended to support a friend's kid, not expecting drama. Karen was there, of course, decked out in a neon pink dress, cheering Dylan like he'd won a Nobel Prize. He looked miserable, avoiding her gaze as he crossed the stage. I felt a pang of pity for the kid, trapped under her weight. Then it happened. As diplomas were handed out, 2 police cruisers pulled up, lights flashing. Officers marched through the crowd, straight for Karen. Her face froze as they slapped handcuffs on her wrists. What is this? She screeched, her voice cracking. The lead officer, a burly man with a calm demeanor, read her charges: attempted theft and vandalism. My heart skipped. Tom's warning had been spot on. It turned out Karen had crossed a line even she couldn't charm her way out of. A week earlier, she'd hired a shady mechanic to break into my storage unit and reclaim the Mustang. The guy, no genius, tripped the unit's alarm and got caught red-handed. Under questioning, he spilled everything. Karen had paid him to steal the car and trash my garage as payback. The police had texts, voicemails, even a handwritten note from Karen outlining the plan. She'd thought she was untouchable. She wasn't. The graduation crowd buzzed as Karen was led away, her screams echoing across the field. Dylan stood frozen, his cap in hand, tears streaking his face. I caught his eye, expecting anger, but he mouthed, "I'm sorry." In that moment, I saw a kid who'd been crushed by his mother's greed, not a villain. Tom appeared beside him, pulling him into a hug. "You're free now," I heard him whisper. In the weeks that followed, the neighborhood exhaled. Karen faced jail time, her scam exposed to everyone. Dylan moved in with Tom, who helped him apply to community college. I saw them once at the diner, laughing over burgers. Dylan looked lighter, like a weight had lifted. I didn't hate the kid been a pawn in Karen's game. As for the Mustang, it stayed safe in my garage, gleaming under the lights. I'd drive it to the diner sometimes, letting the engine roar, a reminder that some things can't be stolen, not by lies, not by lawsuits, not by Karen's wrath. But the real lesson wasn't about the car. It was about standing your ground, about seeing through the noise of someone like Karen, who'd weaponize her anger to get what she wanted. Her downfall wasn't just the handcuffs or the courtroom low-sit, was the truth catching up, stripping away her mask. She'd thought she could bully the world into bending. She'd thought wrong. Indy.